and a warm welcome to another episode of Today's Parent, where we connect you with experts and provide you with expert information to make your parenting journey a bit more easier. I'm your host, Christine Casina. In today's episode, we are talking about the terrible twos. Are you a mom or a dad of a toddler? Welcome to the world of no, everything is no, absolutely no. Or there are tantrums being thrown here and there, and this episode is for you, so we can equip you with skills so you can survive terrible twos. In studio today, we have Esther Kimani, who runs Mom 360. She is known to a lot of moms. She's a lactation expert, she's a doula, and has helped a lot of parents navigate the journey of pregnancy and beyond. Welcome to the show. Esther.
How are you?
Very nice to have you. I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice to have you.
Nice to be here.
Can you imagine?
So yeah.
Good to have you. A mom of a toddler out there. First of all, you go through the pregnancy phase and they are calm, they are so angelic and beautiful. And you imagine this little thing will be like this for the longest time.
Yes.
And then they get to year two.
Yeah.
What
They're
happens?
Like, who is this? What happened to my child?
What happens? What happens at year two? Should we demystify, is terrible two real, or should we have done something in year one? Or what is terrible two?
So what we call terrible two basically is when this little angel or this little boy or little girl that you've been having that has been so calm, cool, collected, suddenly behavior changes and they scream at you and they throw tantrums. And as you said, their favorite word is
no.
No.
I have one. I know everything, even before you ask the question. No,
no.
Just no.
And disagreeable about everything. So that's what we call terrible twos. But it does not have to be so terrible. You can plan ahead so that you don't have a terrible two.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's define what is terrible twos.
Yeah. So in year two, when your baby is from around 24 months
right,
up to around 36 months, which is the second year of their life, there's a lot of changes going on. Okay. And your little child starts getting a sense of independence. Remember, now they know how to walk, they know how to talk, they know how to, their motor skills are more. So they feel that they can do it for themselves.
So they want to be more independent.
They want to be more independent.
Right.
Their sense of independence grows. But yet, at the same time, they are not there right there. They are not yet that point where they can actually, like for example, if they want to pick up something from up there, they're not tall enough. But they'll get frustrated because they want that thing and they feel like, I can do it. So they're going to climb to try and get it. And of course, things start going haywire from there.
How do you then differentiate that this is not a behavioral issue, this is a developmental or a stage, this is just a usual, stage of growth. How can you tell as a parent?
So, by the way, it's normal. Tantrums are normal, all this, that is normal. It is actually part of the growth that a child has to go through.
Right.
The psychological, emotional growth. We've been talking a lot about emotional stability and emotional growth and emotional maturity, So a lot of that is happening during this
tantrum
so
time.
Normal. So we actually start to worry if it extends too long. If by age 3, 4, your child is still throwing tantrums they were throwing at age 2, then
you need to get worried.
You need to get worried. Sometimes it is a physiological problem. Maybe your child, in fact, that's when most parents understand, if a child, you're calling your child, keep calling, they're not answering, and you think that your child is being terrible, they're not listening, but maybe they have a hearing problem.
Interesting.
So if you keep calling them, they're not answering, maybe you need to have their hearing tested. And sometimes you find, there's some hearing impairment. It might not be complete because like deafness is in stages. Yeah. Maybe your child is has a physiological problem that's making them act out the way they are.
They are.
So there are so many little things that you can look at to actually know, is this behavioral or is this another problem that actually needs more intervention?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, are there different phases of tantrums?
Yes.
Are there different phases?
Yes. A 1-year-old can also throw a tantrum. A 6-month-old can also throw a tantrum.
Oh.
Yes.
Never thought about it like that.
Yes. You know when they want something and then it's a 6-month-old.
Right.
But she's actually throwing herself on the chair like this
Wow.
because she wants something. She's already throwing a tantrum. So that's what I was saying. What you do at that time will determine how your 2-year-old will act. So if your 6-month-old throws a tantrum, and then you, because you don't want this tantrum or you're embarrassed, and so you allow the behavior to go on, then the 2-year-old will be worse.
You know, for a 2-year-old, they're a bit more vocal.
Exactly.
Or they try to
Yeah.
be vocal and articulate themselves, though
Yeah.
they're struggling.
Yes.
For a 6-year-old, you've mentioned they're going back and forth. I
Yeah.
wonder for a 1-year-old, how can
Yeah.
you tell when they're having a tantrum?
For example, if you give them something and they throw it down and then start to cry very, very loudly, that's already a tantrum. So what you do then, they just increase. A tantrum, I keep saying it's like this little monster that
Grows and grows and grows and
grows. At
gets
some
worse with
point
time. But
becomes
2-year-old,
versatile.
it's mature
Exactly.
hurricane.
Exactly. You know, the way it gathers
Oh, yeah.
momentum. So what you start doing right from around 6 months, because that's when some children start getting a sense of independence. And depending on their temperament, they can be already start showing these very stubborn traits. So for example, that 6-month-old who is throwing themselves
Yeah.
because they are very upset.
Yeah.
Ideally, that age, you can't really talk to them,
No.
but you can distract them. So when they start doing that and you pick them up, take them from that environment to a different environment, then they forget what they were doing. And then that cuts the tantrum. But if you're there saying, oh, or giving, like for example, if they were crying for something and you don't want them to have, like your phone, for example, and you don't want them to have your phone. But what do most of us do? Because we don't want this here. Chukua. You're just 6
You
months
just
old.
end the war.
Yes. What will happen?
More baby shark and then?
Yes, exactly. At 2 years, it shall be a hurricane.
Yeah.
Has already
And then
established.
becomes their phone.
Exactly. Then now we say, I have a terrible 2-year-old at home. Exactly.
I'm then wondering for,
Yeah.
for parents watching,
Yes.
what can they do, in the earlier months, in that
Yeah.
very important first year,
Yeah.
to mitigate what could possibly happen in year 2,
Yeah.
to prevent explosive tantrums, if we can?
If you can.
What can we do right in, in the first
In the
year?
first year, number one, parents have a routine. Children thrive on routine. We have something called a circadian rhythm. The way your body works, the way your body processes things, your sleep, wake cycle, and all those things are established by the routines you do.
Right.
When a child has structure, they actually become very calm.
Okay.
And they don't get as frustrated because they know what to expect.
Okay.
If they eat breakfast at 8,
Serve breakfast
serve
at 8 and
breakfast at 8
consistently.
and consistently. The internal clock will pick that as their breakfast time. And so what will happen, even for you, it is more structured for you. When your child starts to cry at 9, it's because I didn't feed him at 8. It becomes very, very structured. And children, because they know what to expect, they actually behave better because you've also met their needs. You're not trying to guess,
not
is he
haphazard.
hungry? Yeah, is he hungry? Is he sleepy? If he naps at 10, let the nap be at 10. So what will happen? That in itself mitigates half of it. Half of your problems are already gone.
Number
by
one,
having
routine.
structure.
Routine and structure.
Routine and structure.
Right.
Number 2, at around 7, from around 6 to around 9 months, children start becoming very self-aware and start knowing what they want. And by knowing what they want, they start stretching their boundaries, establish boundaries. I always tell parents, always take it in such a way. If your child is holding a knife, even if they cried blue murder, would you allow them to hold the knife?
Of course not, I wouldn't. No parent would.
Yeah, but that's what we keep doing every day. When we don't provide structure for our children, it's like putting a knife in their hand, because when they're teenagers, because they didn't have any structure, it's like a knife. They will be unmanageable. They'll be the children that we keep wondering what happened because we didn't provide structure. So if it's an unacceptable behavior, we reinforce positive behavior and we
discourage the negative
ones. Yeah.
When you put your child on timeout,
the
temptation as a mother, as a father, I can imagine is to soothe them with, a bottle of milk and just... How do you handle yourself as a parent in between the feeling woye for them, feeling sorry for them and wanting to, just make them feel all right and let them learn the lesson?
The lesson.
How do you hold yourself back as a parent? What tips can you share for, you are sensitive?
Yes. So the first thing to do, never deal with your child in anger. Because if they're having a tantrum and you're throwing a tantrum of your own, so it's a screaming match. So it can't work. So the first thing, as I said, is know that when I provide structure for my child, I actually want to create a human being in the future who will be a positive addition to the human race.
Absolutely.
So once you learn that, you calm yourself first. Sometimes you even have to go out, breathe up to 10 because you're so upset. And then I'll come and deal with them. And then you're timing out. When you do time out, you're telling your child, I love you, but it's the behavior I don't like. So sit there, and actually, like for a 2-year-old, you can explain, because you're screaming, I can't hear you. So sit here and I'll be back in 2 minutes so that we can talk. And then go away or go sit aside. Trust me, your child is hearing.
Nice.
But they might not know that when they'll scream out and then eventually keep quiet. And then when they keep quiet, because you told them, when you calm down, I'll be back. So you calm down. Now be back and say, okay, have you stopped screaming?
Yeah.
Now we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because when they're screaming, they're not hearing you.
No.
Yeah. So that's how timeouts work. But when you just put them in a corner and then you're making noise and screaming at them, and it won't work.
That can't work.
It won't work.
Okay.
So we can't have two people having tantrums. No.
Mom throwing a tantrum or dad throwing a tantrum, then the child throwing a tantrum. That would be quite something. That would be quite something.
Yes.
Esther, we're going to take a short break.
Yes.
We are going to come back with Esther Kimani of Mom 360, passionate about walking with you that parenting journey so it can be a bit more easier for you. And today we are talking about tantrums and how we can deal with tantrums, not only for your child, even for yourself. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to today's episode of Today's Parent, where we are talking about toddlers and tantrums. In studio today, we have Esther Kimani, who's seen so many parents struggle with this, and she's here to share tips on how we can manage tantrums and manage ourselves. Welcome back to the show. Esther, as we're coming back from the break, I have a question from Jane, who's asking, and I know it's a common question that many parents will ask. She was in the supermarket, and then her child wanted a toy. And then you know how it goes. Then her child had a proper meltdown in the supermarket.
Yes.
She was struggling with what to do because just how people looked at her, and it made her feel, she says it made her feel like a bad parent. Yeah. She wants to spank this child. She wants to talk to this child.
Yeah.
But it was a moment for her. She wished she knew what she would have done different and feel more empowered when it happens again. What tips can you share with her?
So number one, try and avoid the tantrum in the first place. Don't take your child in the supermarket if they're hungry or it's time for their nap or they're sleepy. Because already they are wired up. They're already upset because they're hungry. So try and make sure that when you're going somewhere or out of the house, the child is well fed, they're not tired.
Okay.
Because but the part of a tantrum is caused by how the child is feeling at that point. Secondly, establish rules. Even before you go to the supermarket, a 2-year-old can understand. We think they can't, but they can. You say, we're not buying toys today. We are not buying anything today. We will buy next time. So, of course, they'll still test.
Of course.
Because it's a 2-year-old.
Yes.
I like this toy.
I want it now.
Yeah. So when they pick the toy, again, parents, you cannot be up here and you're trying to talk to these 2 feet. It's not even 2 feet. How old? It's really small human being. So get back to their level and say, we are not buying a toy today. Eye contact. Most children, because they don't want eye contact, they'll try and...
Is that so?
Yeah, they'll try and not
I
look
will
at
try
you.
eye contact from today.
Yeah. So look at them, even hold them and say, we're not buying the toy. Take the toy, put it back. So what will this little person start doing? Maybe start rolling themselves in the ground or screaming. Please don't get embarrassed. 2-year-olds, it's normal for them to behave like that.
So you let them roll?
So at that point, no, don't let them roll. Pick them up and walk out of the supermarket. Even if they are screaming blue murder, it's fine. And don't even be apologetic. Just walk out. Remove them from that environment. Or you'll be having to pay for things because they've broken things. Yeah. So sometimes it takes you to remove them
from that
That
situation.
remove
Right.
them,
Right.
take them outside, let them calm down, and then tell them, we're not buying the toy. And then guess what? Go back into the supermarket.
And finish what you are
And
doing.
finish what you are doing.
You know,
But
you make
don't
it sound
give in.
so easy.
I know it's not
I was
easy.
waiting for you to say the
Yeah.
solution is don't go with your child to the supermarket.
No, but you need to teach them.
Of course.
They need to learn. So take them when they're in they're not hungry,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
And then let that be. Every time your child misbehaves, it's a time to teach them. We used to have a word with my children when they were growing up. It was OPP. OPP means other people's property.
Other people's property.
Yeah. So I tell them that's other people's property.
Don't touch.
Don't touch. And if that became even when they learn how to talk, they'll say, OPP? I'm like, yes.
Wow.
And then sometimes I'd say, no, today it can be ours. So pick it up, we go, we pay, and then it's yours. So it's also not no all the time. You can also have times when you tell your child, yes.
And that won't confuse them.
No, because then they learn there are times mommy says yes.
Yeah.
And there are times mommy says no.
Because sometimes they grow up
Yeah.
thinking, Mom, mom will say no, even before they
even
ask.
before I ask.
Mama atasema no, hata usiniulize.
Exactly. So let it be an opportunity.
Okay.
And even pass by that time, like Jane, pass by where the toy was. And then you say, that one, not
Give the
today.
temptation.
I know. But for most of us, we run away from conflict and
Yeah.
we run away from that.
Yeah.
And that's why your child, or we give in. We take the toy and go pay for it. But what have you taught your child? That if I scream loud enough, I can get what
They're
I
going
want.
to give it to
and
me.
guess what? There'll be an adult who throws tantrums, because adults throw tantrums too. The adult who make a big fuss, like the MPs, they make a big fuss.
And we give it to them.
And we give it to them, so they get the raise they wanted.
Yeah.
No. So we want to raise better human beings for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. I'm sure that answers Jane and any
Yeah.
other parent who's struggling. Am I going with my kid next time to the supermarket or
Yes.
not?
Yes.
The only way is to face the situation and find a way out to empower yourself.
Yes.
Like you say, stay firm
Yes.
and don't give in.
And don't give in.
And don't give in.
And don't get angry. Because as I said, if you're both throwing a tantrums, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, this child is not doing it to make you angry. They're just trying to control their world.
Yeah.
So if you get angry, then it doesn't work. And your child now responds to your anger rather than your being calm.
Right.
So I'm always like, sometimes, yes, you're very upset. Just breathe up to 10. Then now calm down to the baby's level. And now deal with the tantrum head on.
I hear you.
Yes.
Share with us other tips when it comes to tantrums.
Yes.
How can we do better as parents?
As parents. So number one, don't run away from it, because that's what we do. Sometimes you even call the nanny, kuja mchukue, take them. No. So first of all, get down to your child's level. If they are at a place where they can harm themselves, remove them.
Yeah.
Take them to a separate space where they will just leave them. If they're in a place where you think they're not harming themselves, ignore it. Don't feed the tantrum. So you're saying, someone was telling me my child cries for 2 hours.
Is it possible?
Yes, because you're feeding it. You're like, Baba, keep quiet.
Yanaza.
Why are you
Yeah.
crying?
Then they start rolling over.
Now they feed it. But you know what? If you just even don't look at them, totally
Like they're
ignore
not
them.
there.
Like they're not there, and continue. You can say it once. Say, I'll talk to you when you keep quiet, and then totally ignore it. After a minute, they'll say, oh, okay.
They're not even
Now,
noticing I
because
am.
children want their parents' attention.
That's true.
They'll be like, okay, I need to stop crying so I can get back my parents' attention. And then when they stop crying, you tell them, very good, you've stopped crying. So you're reinforcing the quietness. You're not reinforcing the cry.
Yeah.
So when they stop crying, you even give them a hug. You tell them, I'm proud of you, you've stopped crying. That is very nice. Now, what did you want?
Use your words.
Use your words, exactly. And then when they do and then if they're now throwing things, they have this habit of throwing things, you will tell them, no, remove them from that environment. Take them to a place where they cannot harm themselves, they cannot throw things. And then when they are calm, you tell, I'll be back. Now, it's because they are not feeling heard, they're not feeling understood.
Yeah.
So ask them, why did you throw that? What were you feeling?
Esther.
Yes.
I know you are raised by African parents.
I know.
Me and you both.
I know.
And you speak
Yes.
like you're not speaking to the rest of
Yes.
us. I'll explain.
Yeah.
The temptation to
To
spank
just
that.
spank that child. But you know, and that's why most people say, na chapa, hakuna kitu inaendelea.
I'm even surprised by the people say the spank that is so rare.
Yeah, but we spank. I spanked myself. I spanked my child.
I feel guilty
but
when
I
I
will
do it.
not. I will spank when I'm explaining, and I will not spank in anger. And I'll say, you threw that, so I'm going to spank because you threw that slipper. And then I'll spank, and then I'll say, okay, I love you, and I'll hug them. And then I'll say, now, will we throw that? Why did we throw it in the first place?
Wow.
So it is explaining.
And you're able to become like that all the time.
Exactly. I count up to 10.
Breathe in and out.
Yeah.
Count up to
Just
10.
breathe. Count to 10. And then now get down. Because actually the way our parents, I remember my mom spanking me sometimes. I didn't understand. Why even beating me?
It was a war.
Yeah. And then you run away from your mother because you don't know. With this spank, because you don't understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't create behavior modification.
No, even an area, a place where you can have a communication and explain yourself.
Explaining yourself. But when you actually, you will actually learn very fast that when the child is going through a tantrum, that's not the time to talk to them. Either remove them from the situation, take them to a quiet place, if it's in a public place, or ignore them, if it's in a safe space, or now put them down next to you and hold them until they calm down.
Right.
Because when they're not calm, it won't work. So they need to be calm. Secondly, keep to your routine. If your child is hungry, you can't feed them. That's why they are crying. So keep to your routine. Distract them. Sometimes you can tell when a problem is about to come.
Yep.
If you see that ball and you know they are going for them, pick them and say, let's go for a walk. Even before they get to them, children have a very short-term memory.
They move to something else.
Yeah, they move to something else. So distraction works very well when you distract them before the tantrum event starts.
Right.
So there are different ways that you can deal with it. But tantrums basically are ways your child is just trying to express themselves. So allow them also to express themselves. Also, don't be the no parent all the time. As I said, choose your battle. Sometimes it's, do you want apple juice or orange juice?
Give them an option.
Give them an option. They want to feel like they have control over their environment.
Even when they don't.
Even when they don't.
You've already decided.
It's
either or.
Or do you want milk in a yellow cup or milk in a blue cup?
Right.
So they'll say, oh, blue cup. Then say, okay, here is the cup. And then boy feels, wow.
Yeah.
I've had
made
a
decision
and
I had a say.
I had a say. So sometimes it's stuff like that will help you not even have a tantrum in the first place.
Right.
And then always listen to your child. They're trying to say something. They might be 2.5. They might not have information. But after the tantrum is over, sit down and then still reaffirm your love and affection for them.
Right.
Give them a hug and then tell them, why were you screaming? Now tell me. Use your words, as you were saying. Use your words. Then he'll say, you're not listening to me. They'll actually tell you, you're not listening to me. And say, why do you feel like I'm not listening to you? Because I want that toy. And then you say, but that toy, that's not a toy. That one can hurt you. Can you choose another toy instead? Yeah.
How do you tell as a mom or dad that this is not a normal tantrum? I need to get extra help, that I need intervention.
Yeah.
How do you know when you've gotten there?
So
and what help is out there?
So if a child is harming themselves, self-harming or harming others, so you'll find a child who literally bangs their head until they start bleeding, or they will come and punch you and nothing seems to calm them. So sometimes violence, if there's violence, that could be a trigger that something is amiss
and you need extra help.
Sometimes if you're calling your child and you have almost to scream every time, you have to scream for them to respond to you. Sometimes it's some hearing impairment. So if you notice that I always have to use very high levels of my voice for my child to hear, they could have some hearing impairment where they're not able to hear the lower decibels. So you need to actually seek help, have a hearing test.
Right.
It's a simple test that will tell you if your child needs some help.
Right.
If it's going on past 3 years, 3.5, 4 years, these tantrums are still very, very, they're there for so long, then you do need to seek help.
Okay.
And for most times, it's psychiatric help that will help you. You need to see a child psychiatrist or a child psychologist that will be able to guide you and will be able to do some other tests to rule out if this is a problem. Sometimes we have the children with the autistic range, which is a spectrum. Those children do throw tantrums because they are very frustrated. They cannot
be so misunderstood.
Exactly. So that child is handled differently. But for most times, at home, you're able to deal with your child and your child is able to calm down. And as your child learns how to speak out, then the tantrums reduce.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Esther, for coming to share.
Thank you.
I know there's a mom. I know there's a mom there. There's a dad out there who just wants to know how to connect with you and ask you some questions. How can a mom or dad connect with you? Where can we find you?
So Esther the Doula on all platforms.
Okay. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Esther the Doula.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me.
Keep doing the awesome job. I never thought, as a mother of a toddler, there could be stuff I could be doing wrong. I have learned from you, and I know there are moms and dads who are watching who've also learned from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
And with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Today's Parent, where we talked about toddlers and tantrums. I hope you found these tips to be insightful to help you manage better, even the next time you go to the supermarket. We had Esther Kimani in the studio today. If you want to connect with her, she has shared her contacts. Feel free to send us an SMS and we'll find a way to connect her to you just in case. I have been your host, Christine Casina, and this has been Today's Parent, where we are normally at Little Cribs, the home of fun, exciting, and durable kids furniture. Make sure you check them out. If you're looking for parenting information, go to www.supermamas.co.ke and we'll make sure that the information is as empowering as you need right now so you can be the best mom and the best dad that you can be. Stay tuned. We look forward to having you next time.